Hi everyone, Richard here at Calvin Wazoo, and it's been a while since I've done a video. I've been doing my live streams, on Sundays, so that's been ongoing. But yeah, it's been a while since I've done a video, and it is that time of year where I go through my collection using Discogs to rank my albums according to their resale value. Now, before I go through my list here, I just want to point out that I really don't buy records with the idea. I don't buy them as investments. That's what I'm getting at. I buy them because I want to listen to them. I want to enjoy the music. And there are some records I have that are in this list that are very collectible, and I paid, a price I was willing to pay to have them. And then there are other records, I'm really quite surprised at how they have escalated in value. But the bottom line is, when I buy records, I buy them because I want to listen to them. I like the music, I like the artist, and I do my best to find reasonably good pressings. So, my most valuable record in my collection, really isn't all that expensive. I mean, I don't go out and buy 500, 600, $1,000 albums. In fact, there are a couple records that I really, really, really would like to have in my collection, but they're just beyond my ability to afford. And I keep, they're in my want list, and I keep looking up the prices, and, oh my gosh, one of them came down from $700 to about $500. Well, that's, way too expensive. And also mentioning that, I have noticed that some of my records have come down in price. So there may be, a situation going on in the market where all these escalating prices are perhaps unsustainable, or at least with the records, that I have. But that remains to be seen, because some of these have held their, they've held their value, so to speak, really quite well. But then others, it's just clear that when I bought them when they were first issued, I certainly was glad to get them, when it happened. So I'm going to start off with honorable mentions. And basically, an honorable mention means that this record is selling for, or has sold. I'm using the median price in Discogs. So the median price means, the median price for which a record has sold. Now, a couple of these I looked up to see what people are currently asking for. And in some cases, the current asking price for available copies is greater than the median price. So that kind of suggests that the value might be going up, but it also kind of suggests that people are just being rapacious. And then the other thing is that in some cases, the median price has been coming down and is down from the last time I checked. And in fact, when I look at records that are for sale, I see that the price of current available stock is either right at the median or less than the median, and not necessarily closer to what, the most expensive sale had been in the item's history. So, and I still have my notes from like going back to 2019 when I started doing this. So I'll get started here with some honorable mentions. And this first one this is one of those that I kind of don't understand why, that it's gone up in price. And that's this here, the Minutemen double nickels on the dime. So, I bought this when it was released. This particular one, I believe, was it's SST Records, and I'm I can't remember when I bought it brand new, but ooh, look at it, it still cracks. But yeah, I, didn't pay a whole lot of money for this double album. I think, I probably paid somewhere, around $30 for it. And it's currently the median price is $100. And that's been about what that's pretty much close to what it's been. In 2021, the median price was $110. Let's see. It was not even in my top 10 records. It was one of my top 10 records in 2021. It's only an honorable mention now. It was not one of my top 10 records in 2020, and nor was it one in 2019. But it's always been like slightly, just below $100. But it always perplexed me. This is another one that kind of perplexes me. Why the price gone up again? I think I paid maybe, I might have paid as much as $40 for this. It was brand new, sealed in a store. And that's this Marillion Brave. Again, the median price right now is $100. And that's going to be, well, in 2020, the median price was $85. It was $81 in 2019, and it was not up in, so it's gone up in price because it's not on my list from last year of 2021. So the fact that the median price is now $100, showing that this record is slowly moving up in price among sellers. And let me get the damn thing back inside the sleeve. And I'll have to edit this out. There we go. All right, and then a next honorable mention is, again, I don't know why this particular record escalated in price. It's this mono reissue of the Beatles' White Album. It does have a number on it. It's got an embossed cover, but this was released in 2014. And so $100 is the price for this reissue. And let's see, this is the first time for some reason that it's actually been in my list. Previous years, it wasn't even an honorable mention. Now this one is listed at $102 for a median price. And this is the Car Seat Headrest album, Teens of Denial. This is the album, this is the original mix. So this includes the song Just What I Needed, Not Just What I Needed was the original title. And that's because the original song contained a quote from the Cars, Just What I Needed. And while they went into pressing the record, they thought they had everything squared away in terms of copyright, etc. But then at the last minute, representatives of the Cars, I don't know exactly whom, but said, nope, that deal's off. So while there were some of these pressed and released, they were quickly recalled. And then a new one was released that had a different mix with that song, which Will Toledo says he actually likes better now that he took that quote out from Just What You Needed. There's also some subtle differences in the coloring of the cover, that slightly different shading. I mean, if I go get my other copy here of, there it is, Car Seat Headrest, you can see that the later issue, this is the later issue, this is the other one. So you can see there's a slight difference in the appearance, but this is sealed. And the other thing about it, this is probably well, $102 is the current selling price, or what it's sold for. $130 is the top end, which, because this is sealed, probably that would be a closer price that this would command. But the other thing is about this is right here. Kate Wirtz initialed this cover. So they tore the cover a little bit just so she could write her initials in there. So I suspect this copy resale would probably be a lot more. I don't know, but anyway, I haven't opened it to listen to it because, I already have it. And I guess maybe there is a part of me that just wants to see, what happens to its value as being, unsealed. But yeah, it was a gift that I greatly appreciate. And, I'm not going to flip a gift. All right, so now getting into, actually this might be one more honorable mention, or no, maybe this is number 10. So we're getting into the top 10. I've lost count, so maybe this is also an honorable mention. But that is Neil Young with Crazy Horse and Psychedelic Pill. So currently this is $109. $110 is the median price. Has sold for as much as $250. This is a really great copy that I got, very nice and clean. I'm pretty sure I paid more than $110 for this. And I would say that my copy, and it's got everything, with it, a little mini booklet and that. But yeah, I'm sure that mine is probably, if I were to sell it, I'd price it higher than that median price because it is in very, very fine near mint condition. This one is one that I picked up for about $60, and I saw it in the store because it was just a really handsome box set. And that is this Gong, the Radio Gnome Invisible Trilogy. So yeah, I bought this for $60, and right now the median price is $120. I enjoy this very much. I haven't played it a lot though, and so yeah, it probably could fetch a little more than that because it's still in very much a near mint condition with all the booklets and everything that go with it. I was really surprised to see it. I picked it up in a store in Columbus, Ohio, I think it was. So now the next one is, it's another box set. So I don't know if that's really fair to say, box sets, but still, this one has appreciated slightly in value. This is the War box set for the years 1971 to 1975. And this last record store day, I did pick up the War box set with the Eric Burden years. This is such a great box set. This wonderful pressing, so exceptional, the sound and everything. Just really, really, really nice box set. I bought it. It was a record store day release, and I bought it at that time, and I can't remember what the release price was, but I think it was around maybe $90. And right now it's at $120 for that. But oh gosh, I just really love that box set. It's such a great, great box set. Here's one that's appreciated in value since I purchased. And actually, I bought this. This is the Mo-Fi edition of the Grateful Dead live album, The Grateful Dead. And right now, it says it's an original master recording. I actually did not look up to see now that they've gone through in Discogs to verify all that after the scandal with Mo-Fi. But it's just a great recording. $120 is the median price that it has sold for, with the high end being around $175. And I bought this for $60, I think. It was, and I bought it from MoFi, I think. I might have bought it from another seller. I might have paid $80 for it. But either way, you know, great sounding record. I also think I paid $80 for an original. I have an original set of that release. All right, so this is probably, you know, I've called it, I'll call it like, you know, it's a grail. One that I've always wanted, and that's this one, Zappa in New York. And this is the original release that had to be recalled because of a dispute between the record company representing the band Angel and Warner Brothers. And there's a lot of other background to go with this that you could check out if you look at my Zappa series, and I talk about this record. But this is the uncensored version. So it includes the song Punky's Whips, which was removed from the later reissue, and it has a slightly different mix of titties and beer. Everything else, I actually did a comparison between the two, and everything else is pretty much the same on this. So currently the median price is about $126. It has sold for as much as $500. And my copy is in near mint condition, and in the cover, I mean, is in, you know, I put the cover as being very good plus. I mean, because there's some spots here where, you know, things have kind of, you know, are slightly damaged where it's coming off. But it's still really good, nice sheen, no ring wear. So, and I think I probably paid $160 for it. So the median price is less than what I paid for, but it's still less than what it has sold for. All right, the next one is, here's another one. I'm not exactly sure why it went up in price. I mean, I paid, when I bought it new, I paid whatever it was retailing for, and it might have only been somewhere between $20 and $30, and that's this released by the Wallflowers, Bringing Down the Horse. This was, released in 2018 on the Interscope label, and I tell you, 2016, I think, might be 2018. In my Discogs, it says 2018, but it looks like it says on the record 2016. I'll have to double check that. And $130 is what the median price is for it. $300 is the highest that it's sold for. Don't really understand why. It's a good album, but again, yeah, just one of those things. I just not exactly sure what's going on with the pricing. All right, next record, another one, again, that perplexes me, and that is this mono reissue of Magical Mystery Tour. You know, I just cannot figure out, what the deal is with this. $147 is the median price. It has sold for as much as $318. And, mine is in near mint condition all the way around. Sometimes I wonder if it's because it includes the promotion for Cirque du Soleil, that's included. Well, maybe I'll just put it in here. Yeah, for the Beatles Cirque du Soleil, there's a promotion for that in here. Maybe it was because it was, the separate release of this when those mono box sets went out, and the mono box sets just went up in price crazily. But anyway, yeah, because, I paid maybe $30 for it, and now it's approaching $150 for the median price. Now, the next few records are pretty much stayed over the years in terms of the position, that they're in. So, like with the Magical Mystery Tour last year, the median price was $127. And then go back here, the War box set is down to $120. That is about the same. The Grateful Dead is the same as last year. And although the Zappa in New York has come down a little bit in price, and the Wallflowers, that's interesting. The Wallflowers weren't even in the top 10 last year. They weren't in the top 10 either in 2020, nor were they in there for 2019. So that record has moved up. But now these records have kind of stayed in the same area. And the first one being the Lo-Fi, the 45 RPM, the Freewheelin' Bob Dylan. $150 now. And I bought this, new for like $60 direct from Lo-Fi. Says it's an original master recording. Again, I did not look up to see if this was verified as an original master or if it was like, the whole scandal thing, whatever. But yeah, this one has kind of stayed in there for the most part. Freewheeling last year was $150, so it's sold for slightly more. And when we go back to 2020, it was $104. And Freewheeling was not even in my list at the time of 2019 because, and I would have had it because I bought it when it was available for the regular retail price. This was a recent acquisition for me, and that is this, and this has been a grail. I know some people say, well, you can only have one grail. But this is another one that I really, really wanted to get and was looking for one for a good price, and that's Wrong by the Canadian post-punk band No Means No. And right now, this is retailing for $155, which is roughly about what I paid for it. I think I paid a little more for it. It's gone for as high as $200, and I did not look up to see how much, if it's available for sale, how much people are asking for it. Who knows? Maybe the price is coming down. But yeah, that was on the original Alternative Tentacles label, and that's a within the last year, recent acquisition. And now we're down to the top two, and another Mobile Fidelity, but it doesn't say original master recording, so I know it's not an original master recording, but it is a 45 RPM recording for Highway 61 Revisited. And great, yeah. So it's the Lo-Fi, $167, almost $170 is what it has sold for the median price. $400, however, it has sold for as much as that. And for this one, it's come down. It's come down in price, probably because of the Lo-Fi situation. Because last year the median price was $230, although it's up much higher than it was in 2020. In 2020, it was $104 was the median price, and the actual top price that it sold for was $150. But now the top price that this is sold for is, according to Discogs, through the Discogs market, is $400. So this record, depending on condition, etc., still commands a premium price. But again, this was one I bought for probably whatever the retail was, direct from MoFi, like, $40. And then my number one, which has been among the number one, it was number two in 2020. It was number one last year, and it was number three in 2019. So it's number one for 2022, and that is the Steven Wilson remixes for Yes. So, I mean, in 2021, it was actually slightly more. The median price was $338. It is now $309, $310. And then the highest price that it has ever sold for is about almost $380. But yeah, again, this was one that I bought for $90 when it was first released. And $90 for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 records, and a couple of them are, you got Tales of Topographic Ocean and Close to the Edge. It's just, which are, well, Tales of Topographic Ocean is a double album. All the others are singles. That was a good release price for like $90, $95, I think. And now it's up to about $310. And just absolutely great sounding records. So that's my annual list for my most expensive albums, or my albums with the highest retail or resale value. But again, it's just something I enjoy doing. I'm not one to necessarily, flip records. So I don't buy multiple copies of the same thing because I plan on flipping some of those copies. I buy multiple copies of some records because I want multiple copies. I want multiple, different pressings. So there you go with that. And, leave a comment in the down under, about whatever you think about the whole pricing scheme now. I mean, prices have really kind of gone out of control with some records, but it does, I don't know, it kind of feels like it's starting to temper a little bit, but I might be wrong. And it's also been a long time since I've done a book review or talked about a book that I recently read. Now, so if you're not interested in the book review, then bye-bye, we'll talk to you later. However, if you're also interested in the book review, I will go to that next. And this book is really, really fascinating. It's a biography, Spinoza, A Life. The author is Stephen Nadler. And the reason I got this book is I was watching Cosmos, the new Cosmos series that has Neil deGrasse Tyson doing the narration. And there was a segment that talked about Spinoza and how, because of his writings, which were released in the latter half of the 17th century, it got him ostracized from the religious community. He was raised a Jew in Amsterdam, the Netherlands, but he got excommunicated because of his writings and what he was talking about. He got excommunicated by the synagogue. And then also the Reformed Church, which is the primary Christian church in the Netherlands, also just railed against him as being like just terrible, evil influence on people because of his writings and his thoughts about God and nature, etc. So I had to get a book. I had to read more about it. I had heard of Spinoza, but I never really knew anything about him or about his philosophy. And so really great book. And the gist of what he was saying is that God is not like a human, like a being a sentient being. God is not this creator. All right, it's not a personality. God is everything. God is nature. So I'll just read quickly this passage that sort of encapsulates the primary essence, and that is, and this is the author writing about Spinoza. In truth, he insists, God is simply the infinite substance in which all things exist, and as such is identical with nature. Everything else follows from God's nature with an absolute necessity. Spinoza also denies that human beings are free in any significant sense, or that they can do anything of themselves that would contribute to their salvation and well-being. Okay? Well, that's because God is not the king of the universe. So there is no salvation. God is the universe. Okay? That's what Spinoza is saying. So rather than being like a personality, a God is not this kind of entity. Just God is everything, then is nature. And everything derives from nature or from God. Well, some other things that he was saying, for example, he said that Jesus was no more the Son of God than any of us. So you and I are the sons or daughters of God. And that there is no Trinity, and that Moses did not receive the tablets from God, the Ten Commandments from God. All of this is, the Bible is not the Word of God. The Bible is merely the writings of man. And therefore, they have to be taken with a grain of salt. Now, this got turned into the fact that Spinoza was an atheist, all right? That he was saying that there is no God at all, and that, and everything that kind of goes along with that. And really, Spinoza wasn't saying that. He wasn't saying he's an atheist. He's just saying that God is not a personified human being. It's not an anthropomorphic figure that is out there which man has created. Man was not created in the image of God, Spinoza says. God was created in the image of man. All right. So in Spinoza's world, God is unemotional, God is formless, and God lacks any intellect. Therefore, God has no intention. All right? The world and the universe exist as is. That's just the way things are. So to speak of God as something other than nature in and of itself is to mischaracterize God. And that got turned into him being an atheist when in fact he was, he really wasn't an atheist. And in fact, this really aligns very closely to how I view, the world, that, God is nature and all within nature is derived from it. So we're just all extensions of that. And every part of the universe is part of all of that. And that religion is nothing more than a scheme to gather and sustain power over others. That's the whole point of religion. It isn't to become closer to God. It's to remain under the control of the people who control the articles and tenets of whatever the religious faith might be. That's probably why they thought he was an atheist, because he was attacking the Pharisees of the time for them controlling, the message and the word of God, and then saying, yeah, but this is the word of God. And he's saying, no, it's not. And I can prove that. And he did. The fascinating thing about it is that he used geometry. He used this geometric method that I believe kind of began with Descartes, but he took it a little bit further. And other mathematicians at the time who were using geometry and proofs and how they would set things up. First, you start with this basic notion, and then from there, everything else is derived from it and cannot vary because of the original axiom, the original rule. I think that's why I like geometry better than algebra. I did really well in geometry and trigonometry, but when it came to algebra, I had a lot of difficulty. And but geometry made eminent sense to me because I understood how everything, every axiom, every rule of geometry was built upon another proven rule. And that's what you did in geometry. You constructed proofs. And he used that method to prove that God is not some big old gray man in the sky, not some giant puppet in the sky that's controlling the universe. God is the universe. And being the universe, God is not a sentient being. And I guess that's why also I find myself attracted to such things as Taoism, and also very much, to Buddhism, because it really sort of upends this notion that there's some power out there that's in control of anything. No, the universe is chaos. All right, it has rules. All right, but those rules are themselves. They were not created by some other being and then inserted into the universe. The universe exists because of its own rules, and we exist because of those rules as well. That's what I find fascinating about Spinoza. This is just, and I've read a lot of philosophers, and some of them are just really difficult to get around. And some of them, like Nietzsche, sometimes he's brilliant and other times he's just batshit crazy. And then others are, whether it's Hume or Kant, they have some good ideas and all that, but they're all built upon this premise. Many of them are built upon this presence of an existence of God, and which to me makes it completely fundamentally flawed. But Spinoza, man, this fucker figured it out. He really did in the 1600s. Just amazing stuff. So anyway, that's my book. Like it or not. And, hey, leave your own comments in the Down Under if you've got some other books in that realm of philosophy or about Spinoza or anything like that, or about any of the records that I showed. Please leave those comments, like and subscribe. And as always, remember to pray for the people inside your head, for they won't be there when you're dead.